Hi everybody, I'm Meg. This is Maker Mornings with Meg on Loven Stamps channel, and I'm excited that you guys are here to see a project today. So the project that I'm going to share with you is a fun and very simple, unique fold. In fact, it can be applied to most of the cards that you're making right now, especially if you're layering your card fronts. It's really easy to convert any of them into a really simple fun fold Z-fold card. So I'll show you that. And the stamp set we're going to use is a new one. So it came out on November 1st, unless you're a demonstrator and then you got a pre-order last month, but it came out on November 1st and it is a sneak peek from the upcoming July through June mini catalog. It is paired with a set of dies that is so robust that I have mine many times over used, and they are the framed florets dies, because good news is that Stampin' Up! Is going to start calling the dies the same name as the stamp set, which will just make it so much easier for all of us. So I'm excited about that. The stamp set that we're using also has a limited time designer series paper. Here are a couple of the patterns in it. They're gorgeous colors. They are sort of these really pretty soft colors here, which could be used for springtime cards, for summer cards, but they also can be used for Christmas cards. And there is a limited time Christmas set that goes with this too, so you're gonna wanna check that out. One of the cool features about this is the paper that matches the dies. So this little paper here can be die cut with the die like so to cut out exactly the shape that you want from your paper, or you can coordinate that with a stamp. So I'm going to show you the stamped version of that today, as well as some different ways to use the many frames that are in this die set. And I love this paper here, which I guess I kind of dressed to match today, so that's kind of fun. All right, so with that, I'm gonna flip our camera down and we are going to change gears here and get started. So there we go, got everything set. And let's see, I think we're way up here, there we go. So for our project today, I'm gonna start with a piece of basic white cardstock. This is actually thick basic white cardstock, because when I use white as my base color, I really like the thick over the regular. And with thick, you're always going to want to score. So you're going to use a simply scored board or your paper trimmer, but you're going to go ahead and score. And you're going to score in half, like 4 1/4 as usual. But then you're also going to score for a Z-fold at 2 1/8. And then that's basically in half for the front so that you fold this back, okay? Really pretty simple. Then what you're going to do is you're going to layer, and the piece you need for the layer on the front is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And my recommendation for this is, I know I would normally put the adhesive here on the navy layer. I'm actually going to put the adhesive here on the card layer, the white layer underneath. I'm not going to go all the way up to the edges. I'm just going to stop a little short there so that I can layer this here without worrying about sealing my card shut. So if I'd put the adhesive here on the navy layer, I could have gotten some bleed over here that would have meant that my card would get sealed shut, and that would have been sad. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that down and grab my just regular seal here and adhere this layer here. And this one is 3 3/4 by 5. And there we have our really pretty card front. Okay, so next thing for this, we are going to pull out some dies. So let's take a look at all of the dies that are in this Fitting Florets. You can see, like with my leftovers, I always stick my extras in here and then I have them for cards and stuff. But there are a number of dies here. So these dies here, these match the flowers here on the stamp sets. You can die cut those. There are 2 of the same leaf die to cut some backgrounds there. And then there's this one here, which matches this cute little greenery piece. And then the rest of these dies, there are this whole mess of ovals, and I'll talk about those in a second. There's this die here, there's dies that match these florals, and then there's this loose die here that I think actually I have my extras stored in my stamp case to keep them safe. I love this little spray die. So this is a really terrific set of dies when you just for sort of kind of getting your stock of florals and so forth together. So All right, and then you get this whole other mess of dies. So these ovals, the one here with the hearts is really cute. You can pair it here with this die here to get a textured frame. You can also mix and match here with this fun frame. So I have an oval cut here from Polished Pink. So here we have this, and it's gonna coordinate here with our navy card and that paper. And then I have this frame here, which I cut from Basic White. And the Basic White is going to give us a really nice contrast with our card, our dark card here, but also give us a kind of relate our card back to this white here in the background. Okay, so just like that. So, all right, before we get this stuff layered, I'm gonna stamp some pieces for our card. And like I said here, for our stamp set, we have some pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp in Night of Navy because it matches our cardstock and our designer paper. And I'm gonna give us one of these pretty florals, and I'm gonna give us one greeting here that is going to go on the front of our card. So it says, for a special person on a special day, greetings in this stamp set are wonderful and useful for lots of occasions. I'm gonna let this dry for a second because we're gonna color it with our Stampin' Blends. And then I'm gonna stamp also inside our card. So I'm gonna do one flower there, and then on the inside, I'm gonna stamp wishes for a beautiful birthday, which is gonna be our secondary greeting. And I adore Night of Navy ink. It makes a terrific neutral. It's just a really outstanding color. Just really, really nice and dense and just really pretty. Okay, so let's come back to our flowers here. And for our flowers, we're gonna go ahead, like I said, and we're gonna do some coloring. The coloring for this is gonna be a little bit different than I usually teach for coloring with Stampin' Blends, with just a tiny bit different technique. So I'm gonna start with my light always. If you haven't seen Stampin' Blends for a while, they come in pair. There's a light and a dark in each pair, and you order them together. They have a brush tip and a bullet tip that's a little bit thinner. And when I color with these, my first step, no different than usual, is to lay down a foundation of color. Just all the way around, I add my light color, okay? All right, now, what's gonna be different in here, I'm gonna color the second one so you can kind of see the difference here when we add our dark lines. I'm gonna go ahead and do an edge color on this instead of like the shading that I usually do. And I really, really like this effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go around the edge here, maybe a little bit down some of the lines, some of the internal lines of the petals, and then I'm gonna color here the flower center. All right, now take a look at the difference between these two flowers. This one is just really kind of stand out, and this one is a little bit less remarkable maybe. So same thing for the leaves. I'm going to go ahead and color the leaves here with a light. These are Old Olive and Polished Pink. So the Polished Pink, of course, is to match our cardstock and our navy. And Old Olive is one of the colors, is it one of the colors? Actually, the color in this is Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreens. We're branching out. And now I'm gonna use the bullet tip. I like the way this bullet tip works on this one, and just go around some edges and like a little bit in the center here, okay? Guys with me on this? So now you can kind of see the difference in the leaves there. So this is sort of the colored version. This is sort of the plain version. So 1 or 2, I don't know. I know which one I like better. I don't know if you guys have a thought. Be sure to leave a comment if you do. But then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use that die here to go ahead and cut this out. So here is our die. You guys know me and my fabulous love of washi tape for sticking dies down on things. There we go. And for our circle here, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a stylish shape, which is my workhorse. If you don't have stylish shapes, what are you waiting for? I think I said, did I say the other day, this is a great Christmas list die set? Put it on your own Christmas list. And I'm happy to help anyone who wants to Christmas shop for you. You can give them my contact and give them your wish list, and I'm happy to help them. But you can also, if you have a friend who's a stamper, I highly recommend stylish shapes because you can totally love having 2 of this. You don't have to worry that someone already has it. It's really nice to have even more than one. So, all right, so then I'm gonna take those and through the magic of television, cut them out, and we have our die cut pieces. So now let's work on putting our card together. So for our card front, I'm gonna come back with our polished pink and our circle. And I feel like this is a little bit too plain. So what I wanna do is add some texture, but I wanna add some really light texture. And this flower would be great for sort of adding a background pattern, but not in navy. I want it to be just a little bit more subtle. So I'm gonna bring in a piece of scrap paper so that I don't stamp all over my table here. And I'm going to do some stamping in polished pink, if I can find my polished pink ink pad. Okay, if you were a polished pink ink pad on this table, oh, you'd be hiding under the designer paper. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my stamps here, and I'm just gonna stamp some of these florals kind of, there we go, a little bit all over the background to get that covered. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bring this back in and place some adhesive on the back to stick this down. And then I'm gonna add our frame. And to add this frame, I really prefer multi-purpose liquid glue. If you can see it, it is enough. You don't need a ton of this glue. Sometimes you have to pull off the little dry glue at the top, so no problem. All right, so I'm just gonna go around. You don't even have to have 100% coverage on this, just a little bit here and there. All right, so I'm gonna take this and flip it over. Now, a lot of times when I'm doing this, I really like to just throw a really big block on there. Let's see, do I have one handy? I do not seem to, so I'll throw in a couple of small blocks and call it done. So then I'm gonna go ahead and take our piece here with our coloring and add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back. And this is going to get layered here on the bottom of our card. Okay. Let's see, hopefully that's long enough on our glue. And then I'm gonna put a dimensional here on the back of our greeting and pop this one on too. Now we have a fun bling, new bling to go with this card. So there's our layout. And the new bling is also part of this limited time suite. So it's not available after November. It is these cute gold adhesive backed swirls. So there, can you guys see the swirls on them? Really cute. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop kind of, I think, one down here and maybe, oops, one over here. And that just really sort of draws your eye to our greeting here. You guys, I know I'm always talking about focal point and making sure that we're emphasizing our focal point. So what those little gold pieces are doing is really bringing your attention there to the greeting for a special person on a special day, and then wishes for a beautiful birthday. Just like that. All right. All right. So I hope that you guys are excited about this Fitting Florets. You can look in the video description. There is a link to the suite, so you can check out the suite collection if you'd like to add that to your stamping supplies. And like I said, the designer series paper, this one, there we go, and the little adhesive back swirls, these are limited time only in November. The stamps and dies will be coming out again in the January through June mini catalog, so you'll be able to get those later. But don't be sad because you missed the paper. Let's see, I have one other card to share that I haven't showed you before. This is one that I just did. We're going this weekend to the Stampin' Up! On Stage event. The biggest one is in Vienna, Austria. And then there are several regional kind of on stages around the world. So I'll be going to Indianapolis for one this weekend. And this is my swap card for that. So used a little bit different designer series paper. This is a Wash with Flowers designer series paper. But I did white embossing on the background and used kind of a similar layout there to that white frame. It's just a really pretty It's a really pretty ornate frame. It really is dressy and fancy and elegant, and it just adds a really nice sentiment to a card. So, and then you can see a couple more of my cards back here in the background. I'll show you this one, which is kind of a fun deal. So this one has kind of a unique fold too. The front of it looks like just a regular card, but then when you open it, on the inside, you realize that this is a reverse mounted element. And so it opens this way. It's like a card within a card. And that gives you a place to stamp on the inside of your card, kind of like in the center of that little hole there. So, and then here, this flower is from the designer series paper, but it's fussy cut. So with scissors. And then this is that pretty ferny kind of floral leafy stuff that I showed you at the beginning that I love so much from the stamp set. So. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, pre-Friday, and enjoy your weekend. Also, I will be in Indianapolis, so watch for some posts on the LovenStamps Facebook page with some details about that and getting together with demonstrators from our group and stuff. And if you're going to be in Indianapolis as a demonstrator, be sure to say hi. And if the thought of like going to events like this is super exciting to you, then you really should think about joining my Stampin' Up! Demonstrator family. And there's more information about that on my website at LovenStamps.com. So happy stamping, everybody. Happy pre-Friday. And I will see you next Tuesday for another episode of Make Her Memories with Meg. Bye-bye.